like to do a roll call about a board member present, so just say your name for the record.
Carol Hostas present.
Hartley Fleishaw present.
And Andrew Shepherd present. Now would you please join me in the Pledge of Allegiance? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. And then I'd like to thank all of our veterans, those currently serving here and abroad, their families, and those who contribute their time to public service. I think we owe them our gratitude. This meeting is being recorded and will be uploaded to the Town of Townsend YouTube channel. The only additions or deletions tonight is to remove 3.1, which would be the appointment of a planning board member to the CPA, Concert Community Preservation.
Conservation, preservation.
Something like that. So we're going to be removing 3.1. That's shared. We're not able to vote on it or appoint someone until the Attorney General has reviewed it. Other than that, so we have a 6:40 p.m. appointment. Only 6:32. We've gone through all the ones. Beth, do we have to take the 6:40 at 6:40? Or because it's not a public?
No, it's just wanted to give them a general. So yeah.
So you're already here, so we might as well jump right into it.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Dan Borowski with Fieldstone Land Consultants. I'm here representing Dick Parker for an A&R subdivision. It's keep this real short and sweet. We have an existing parcel on Haynes Road that consists of 4.3 acres with 428.5 feet of frontage. This is in a residential B district. So 2 acres of land and 200 feet of frontage is required. So we're proposing a 2-lot subdivision right here, keeping the existing house, leach field, and driveway improvements on 1 lot with the minimum 2 acres and 228 feet of frontage, and creating a new lot 2, which is has 200 feet of frontage and the remaining 2.3 acres. There are some wetlands that we located in the back. We're in the process of doing a septic design for the new lot. But other than that, I'd be happy to answer any questions you might have. Pretty simple and straightforward, in my opinion.
Sure. This seems that.
I had looked at the plans online, but that makes sense. I
didn't have any glaring questions or just double checking everything that's online. The building commissioner has reviewed it. Beth, did you look at the application or anything? Did you feel comfortable?
Yeah, they had used the parcel IDs instead of labeling lot numbers. So we have a letter from the engineer. You want to tell him what happened?
Yeah, from the surveyor. So I only used 3481 and 3481-1. I work primarily in New Hampshire, and that's pretty common practice up there. So actually, to be honest, only my second A&R with them. So I fixed on the Mylar and all the copies of the town. I crossed out 3481 and referenced that as lot 1, and 3481-1 and referenced that as lot 2 for your regulations.
Sure.
And then I got a letter from Mr. Knowles, the licensed surveyor who stamped and endorsed the plan that change to his plan was acceptable.
Yep, everything else is in order. The fee is correct. Everything's been fine.
Hartley, do you have any?
No, everything, this is the, again, the 22 Haynes Road,
Correct.
right? And everything seems to be in order, everything's approved, so no questions.
Okay. In that case, I'll read you the motion, but I'd like to entertain a motion to approve the A&R and endorse the plan for 22 Haynes Road.
I'll make a motion to approve and endorse the plan for 22 Haynes Road.
Second?
Excellent. All those in favor?
Aye.
Okay.
Thank you very much.
Excellent.
Thank you, Mark. You're welcome.
You want us to go over there and sign it?
Oh, you can, yeah, that's easier.
I mean, it might be easier.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, thank you.
All right, Andrew, the other chair at the front. I'll put you at the top.
I can get a Sharpie on the paper.
You can, but you might run out, you might run out on it, so I have another pen.
Oh, you're starting to.
You got one?
And I'm also to take this one back.
Yep. I'll set. Is it dated?
Oh, do we put a date on it?
Ooh, easy. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Always forget that pesky little detail, that's the date.
Thank you very much, everyone. Have a
Bye,
good
good
night.
night.
You too. While we're in the spirit of signing, we also have to sign the stormwater management permit for 324 Main Street.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you. Oh, is that for me? Thank you.
You guys, we got one. Probably two, missed the page.
And that's you.
Oh, okay.
Stormwater management.
Yeah, we missed one, we might have stuck.
Thank you.
So I guess while Hartley's finishing that, the next item, 3.2, is to discuss or recommend the planning board member to serve on the town properties committee. Beth, could you share what the town properties committee is?
Yeah, I can read it again if you want.
When did they meet?
The committee shall be appointed by the Board of Selectmen. The Board of Selectmen shall first appoint the 5 members as follows: 1 member of the Planning Board, 1 of the FinCom, 1 of the Board of Assessors, 1 Conservation Commission, and 1 Highway Department. If a member of any board, committee, commission, or department declines an appointment, then the Board of Selectmen may substitute a member from the public at large. In making such a substitution, the board shall consider the recommendation of the prospective board, committee, commission, or department declining the appointment. The remaining 2 members shall appoint from the public at large. All members of the TPC shall be annually appointed or reappointed on or before the last week of June. And in terms of the committee, I thought I put in the description, but it looks like I may not.
Does it say how often they meet?
Let me
Mr. Chairman,
Yes, Lori,
Yay.
please.
Good idea.
I can answer.
Thank
Okay.
you.
Okay, let me get myself on here.
Perfect.
I was gonna try to be in there, but I was running around too much today and didn't get there. So I've been serving on the town properties committee for quite a while in different capacities. First from the assessors and another time from planning. And now I will be serving from the select board. They did appoint me to be on from, well, no, I'm going to be doing a member at large because there is not, select board is not one of the positions. But let me tell you a little bit of history. We used to have a ton of properties owned by the town, which were non-producing as far as tax dollars go. And for a number of years, until about 2.5 years ago, it wasn't even appointed. So nothing was happening to relieve us of any of the town-owned properties. So in the last 2 years, I think we've at least unloaded at least a dozen or more, not just through auction, but also through giving, transferring to the housing trust, transferring to conservation. Generally has been the most popular thing. Again, not producing any revenue, but getting it out of the town's hands and in another entity to care for. So now we're down to more than half of what we had 2.5 years ago, as far as properties to look at. And we just had an auction, and we're gonna be meeting we're hoping before, but once all the members are appointed, we'll be meeting to review the remainder and seeing what we can get for auction. After we get done with what's left, probably the committee would only meet once or twice a year. Because what happens is the only time we're gonna own property, we're not gonna buy any, we don't have money, we don't even have money for the budget. Once we don't have any, the only time we will get noticed is when the town has taken property for taxes, basically. So proposing on that, and then we would be looking at that and then making the recommendation probably for auction to the selectmen. So it's not a real heavy lift, but it's helpful if we have people representing people that are familiar with a lot of properties in town. Like Kevin Smith has been on for quite a while with me. And we all know he knows a lot about the properties. He's done a lot of walking of some of the properties that we have made recommendations on. So that's basically it. It's nothing like planning, and it's nothing like being on the select board as far as the intensity of it. But it does need to be made up per the charter. So I would really appreciate somebody from planning on it.
Thank you, Lori.
Thank you.
Carol or Hartley?
Oh, I'm happy I could do that.
Okay,
Unless if you really would like to.
well,
But-
you have more experience, so I think you would be the appropriate choice.
Okay, I can do that.
I move to appoint Carol Costas as our representative to the Town Properties Committee.
Second?
All those in favor?
Aye.
The ayes have it. Congratulations,
Thank
Carol.
All right, thank you.
So Lori, you'll communicate with Carol
Whenever.
Well,
Anytime.
Beth put the recommendation into Sabrina,
okay.
Okay.
Gotcha.
per the charter. And then the select board will appoint.
Got it.
Okay.
So hopefully that happens soon with the other boards as well. Thank you.
Thank you.
You are most welcome.
Okay, so 3.3 is to review the agreement with the Montechusett Regional Planning Committee for consulting services on the site plan review special permit update. Joe, are you here to talk about that?
I am.
He is.
Excellent.
All right. So I had presented a draft. I am here to answer any questions about it.
And I think we were talking a little bit before the meeting began that this removes the site plan, the special permit.
Site plan review special permits.
The site plan review special permits.
Yes, that's right. The as was which was discussed and with the planning board when this project was created. The goal here is to eliminate the site plan review special permit and replace it ultimately with an ordinary special permit section. Now, please note that doesn't mean everything that is currently requires a site plan review special permit gets deregulated to just requiring ordinary site plan approval. If it was that simple, this wouldn't be a $35,000 project. The site plan review special permit language is woven all the way through the document. And so this is going to be an exercise in unwinding. And part of that unwinding is going to be figuring out what gets sent to the section 62 special permit, what points there instead versus what points at the site plan approval. And they're gonna have to reorganize the zoning bylaw sort of systemically in order to have that happen, as well as go through individually the uses and the language that's in there to decide what needs to be sent to what. That's why it's such a big project.
And you're gonna be able to do all of that, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, working with you.
Yes.
Working with the town. Yes, we'll be able to rewrite it like that. But we're going to need to have lots of conversations about not just technical and language issues, but substantive decisions like that.
Sure. I feel like I'm okay with that explanation. So the Housing and Grant Administrator Kieran made some thoughtful notes about adding some certain language, maybe to provide some clarification. I feel like I could kind of either or on it, knowing that thus far I anticipate we'll have Joe, and Joe has a good feeling on it. And a good grasp. As long as that doesn't change, and Joe doesn't go away or get reassigned.
Maybe that's why.
So
well, if the project were ever to be handed off, there would be a transition phase where so that the person brought in is understands the job. As my supervisor Karen is kept in the loop on all of this stuff as well, and on the level of detail of a supervisor overseeing a project. So yes, I can. These types of decisions and the direction that these things are going in would continue across staff at the MRPC. Should that ever be necessary?
I feel like I do appreciate Kieran's review and the thoughts and comments. I think I'm okay with the explanations you shared, Joe, and I think you need. Oh, we don't have to sign it. Nelson already did.
Yep.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
But yeah, I got the comments after he signed it.
Oh, okay.
So
All right.
I did tell him that, yeah, if there are any revisions, I'd bring it back to them.
Okay, all right, good, yeah,
Excellent.
that's what I was waiting to hear, because I had read those comments. I was just wanting to hear his explanation, so I'm good with that.
Awesome.
Fine.
Okay. All right.
Excellent.
Okay. Thank you, Joe. I think we'll also, if you'll stick around at 4.4, we're gonna just discuss the MBTA communities.
Yes, have the MBTA. I saw that on the agenda, as well as just a little further down the
development forum.
I thought you were on here again. MBTA communities. Okay. Yeah, I'll stick around for that. I'm sorry, I thought it was a separate item. I was hoping we could have a bit of the kickoff meeting as described in the scope of services while I'm on here now. Basically, in terms of we've spoken before, and I think the point that I just made in response to that Karen's feedback is a lot of what I would have wanted to bring to that kickoff meeting, explaining how this is going to need to be a systemic review of the entire bylaw to tease out all of those things, and to make the point that getting rid of the site plan review special permit does not mean that everything that's currently covered by it is no longer by special permit.
And I think the biggest thing, when we put this forward at the town meeting, we'll be able to put forward the comprehensive package so that that point will be most clearly.
Yes. Yes, comprehensive package with both MBTA and site plan approval. Yeah, and changes throughout the document, but especially to I think section 62, which is your current special permit language. That's going to have to be a focus of a lot of it.
I guess just strategically, knowing how smooth town meetings always go, that would be, we'd be able to do that into two separate warrant articles, I presume. We'd be able to probably do the rearrangement of the special permit process first.
Yes.
And then I would imagine that would be cleaner and less controversial, hopefully, and then the MBTA communities following that.
Yeah, that sounds like a plan.
It's a little bit further out, but I'm just making sure that, I think that could be a big rat's nest if we tried to do it all in one.
Yeah, very much so in terms of the two separate votes. My mind was running ahead a little bit. The timeline on this,
Sure.
getting this in and done over the course of this year by your fall town meeting, which takes place late.
We don't have a date yet for that, do we?
No, it's typically in January, but I've asked the town administrator to have one in September for MBTA only.
Okay.
So that's what we're working on.
Okay, so, the target is September for the MBTA.
Because it has to be finalized by the end of the year
Okay,
for a small adjacent town.
okay,
Yes.
So
The
this will not-
MBTA,
okay, then yeah.
So what would be I'm just thinking in terms of convincing the public. If we're gonna do the MBTA first due to the time constraint, but we're gonna be dramatically changing the permit process. I guess I have to reread it to make sure that
okay.
MBTA first will fit. I can just see some technicalities where that could be a stumbling block for some.
Okay. So, as a reminder, the MBTA bylaw was originally written like the ADU bylaw to create the new temporary site plan approval section and then have its site plan approval point to that.
Sure.
Yeah.
And so, and the plan was, and then at the last minute, we changed the site plan, that new site plan approval section to be what the ADU bylaw pointed to. Okay, so the plan here is to get the MBTA bylaw written to point at that temporary section. Now, I wanted to bring up a larger question about the timing. We'd been sort of planning all along that these would go together in December, back when we thought that this PAG grant was going to be awarded last November. Everything's been kicked out 6 months. Do we need the site plan approval special permit by this December? They're giving us a year until June 26th. If there isn't a real reason on the town's end that this needs to be done in 6 months instead of 12, I think we can do a better job for you, not rushing, doing it in 12 months. And maybe there was something and I'm just not recalling it.
I'm not aware of anything, but that doesn't mean there isn't something.
Right. I think it's just this has always been the schedule because that's what we were assuming about the PAG. As you notice, this contract is written with that schedule.
Yes.
That is Town of Townsend. Is that Beth?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I'm right here. Yeah.
Okay, Beth. So you've been here all along for this. Do you remember? Was there something particular on the town's end that
this PAG grant has been, I think it was applied for over a year ago, and that was a previous land use coordinator or grant administrator that applied for it. So not familiar what the timeline was supposed to be, but,
Yeah.
I don't think it has to be done by December. I don't know, you did write the scope and timeline to
Yes.
end in December, and not sure why that's the case. I mean, that's the case for DLTA,
Yeah,
but this
and-
is a
and
different.
Yes, and I think we had all been thinking all along about this as the deadline, but I don't think we need to. I
Yeah.
think that with this being kicked out, I should redo this timeline for you,
Okay.
and give us our full year.
Sure.
Yeah,
Okay,
if that's what you, yeah. Yeah,
Okay.
I think that we'd certainly rather a higher quality product for the benefit of the townspeople. So I think.
Okay. All right then. I will rewrite it. Whereas substantively the tasks you're okay with in there, I think that this should probably be something that can. Do you need to have do you want to have me appear before another plan board meeting before you can sign it, or
I mean, technically, it's
change the
been signed.
dates and the timeline for you?
I have a question
He's gonna
about-
modify the timeline,
Sure.
so,
Yeah, it should be re-signed.
yeah.
Task number 5, it says review site plan, review regulations for compliance with MBTA and ADU laws. Now there you're talking about regulations in task number 5. So that's
Right.
not time sensitive. That's not the zoning bylaw.
Correct. That's not a good catch. That is not, the regulations are not, are not necessary. That's perfectly fine to be by the end. The reason that I want to make sure of that is that we don't want to go through this process, and I'm also going to need to write you some regulations. And
Yeah.
I don't want to write you any regulations that would knock you out of MBTA compliance or knock your ADU bylaw out of compliance.
Okay.
So I'm going to be keeping an eye on that.
Okay, thanks. Great. Do you see any other tasks?
That sounds great. Thank you, Joe.
Okay.
Is there anything else we can answer for you or attempt to
No, I think
confuse?
that's it. I think that's it on this tonight. I'll stick around for the MBTA discussion.
You know what, while you're here, we don't have any other time sensitive items to my knowledge, so, we can talk about it. I think my only update is Joe and I submitted the, pre-approval application,
Yeah,
Okay.
I suppose, and I'm not sure if you've had any feedback or anything like that.
It went very smoothly. Yeah, I substantively, I don't think they're going to have any issues at all, having given us such positive feedback on that more difficult one that we'd sent in before. Okay, a few days before I did yours, I worked with the Mark to do Townsend's. I worked with the administrator in Ashburnham to do theirs, and we got back an email Thursday. The town got back an email Thursday saying we need this document. We seem to have if you remember, Andrew, it's an exercise in uploading the right document to the right
Sure.
places. We seem to have uploaded the wrong GIS file into the wrong place. So if let's see, you're on there with your email, but also if the whoever else email Beth and the town administrator's office, keep your eyes peeled for their response email from EOHLC, and shoot back to me right away whenever they come back with.
How long does it take them to approve typically, the pre-approval?
I mean, it varies based on how difficult and complicated it is and where they are in terms of how buried they are in their process. Right now, they're buried in their process, but they're going to try to work with us. I would expect they've got a 90-day deadline. I would expect them 60, I think, would be pessimistic. I think they can probably do better than that for us.
Okay. All right. Nice.
And we did get confirmation that it was received,
Yep.
so we're all set from EOH, hopefully. We got confirmation, the confirmation email.
All right, that sounds good. Joe, do you have anything else on the MBTA communities as of now?
That's pending, but, I wanted to ask the board if they would discuss a joint meeting with the select board and invite Joe to present, if that's possible. I think if there is a select board meeting coming up on July 14th, I think it is.
15?
Okay, the 15th, so then we're on the 14th. The planning board meets on the 14th, and I was going to recommend a joint meeting with select board to basically to go over the work to date that the planning board has done, and look for select board support publicly in a vote, if we could, draft a motion, present the timeline that we've been working on, and including all the moving parts, DEO, HLC pre-approval, town council pre-approval, just have a joint meeting with a short, this is what's going on,
Okay.
to date, if that's okay with everybody.
I won't be here. I'll be soon. I'm going on a river cruise.
Nice. Is that possible?
What's the date on that?
Tuesday, the 15th?
Yeah.
I think it's a Tuesday. Just assume.
Yeah, because I think it leaves Sunday.
Tuesday the
I'm back for that, yes.
So that will work. I think it might be a great time, since everyone is kind of looking at town government, and this is a big, compliance, a lot of compliance work been done. And it might be a good opportunity, for public relations as well, to see the boards in combination meeting and agreeing on path forward. That's my thought.
I think it's great about that. Thank you.
That's a good time.
Okay, just as long, because I know that the rest of the board may not be as familiar, and I'm not with the changes. I've not seen this last document. So just as long as you send it along to Sabrina to make sure that we have it, that would be great.
So basically timeline and exactly what, the planning board has to date, has been working on.
Do you think that's reasonable, Joe? Do you think you'd be available for?
Yes, I can come. Yes, I can come for that.
Yeah, okay.
Thank you.
And you'd be able to put together the material of kind of the synopsis of what we've done for
Yes.
a light. Yeah, okay,
Thank you.
excellent, thank you. Okay, so that's perfect. So that's July 15th, Tuesday, at Select Board Chambers, 6 PM. I'm not seeing anything else in our folder on the MBTA communities. I don't know if anyone else has anything. Or you do, Joe? Yeah, go ahead.
This is tangentially related to MBTA communities. I guess it's actually more relevant to site plan review special permit. I had sent an email before about your ADU bylaw. The state, the bottom line is the state has kind of pulled the rug out from under us a little on site plan approval, on what is when site plan approvals would be allowed. I went back and your town council noted it, and I noted it too. It's right in the law that site plan approval would be considered reasonable regulation that is allowed. But the regulations and the interpretations that have come out since then are suggesting that they might not allow that they're unlikely to allow site plan approval for things that wouldn't require site plan approval if they were for single family homes. So I have been waiting with bated breath to see what the Attorney General comes back with about that amendment, the ADU amendment, and what the new site plan approval section says about the ADU amendment. But the message that I wanted to convey here is do not despair. Regardless of what they come out with in this, we will fix it as part of the PAG. It's related to the creation of a new site plan review, of a new site plan review section. So if there's anything that comes out wrong, well, I can't make a completely open-ended commitment. I can't say if there's anything that they don't like about the ADU bylaw there and the way we've handled ADUs, but on this issue, what if they come back with pushing back about what is and isn't allowed, those zoning amendments would be incorporated into this project.
Okay. And I did see your email about that, but just to be confirmed, it's tentative, right?
It's tentative. We're waiting back. You haven't gotten. Yes. I fear that this may happen. Please send on the Attorney General's response to those zoning amendments as soon as you get them. I noticed they generously extended their deadline to themselves into next month. So I expect they extended that because they're going to need that time. But I'm eagerly looking forward to what they have to say.
Sure.
Could you send us the reference to the regulation that's challenging site plan approval as part of the ADU process? Not right now, but.
No, I'm not sure I can. It's all right. I can look in the regulations, but I think it's more. This is what I've gotten from multiple seminars about how to write your new ADU bylaw and how it's being interpreted. So I think it's still on the level of interpretation right now. And I think that these Attorney General's responses are actually going to be the first solid thing we get back.
Understood. Thank you.
Okay. All right, excellent. Does any of the members, or Hartley or Harold, do you guys have any questions on that?
No.
So, fine. All right.
So I just wanted to make the point. I did go back and looked at that memo that Adam sent. If you want to take a look at that again, and he got it right, and the language in the law looks pretty clear. And I've been thinking this ever since I first started hearing this in these seminars, that doesn't jibe with my recollection of what the law says. So this is still tentative, but I just wanted to let you know that it is, and they may rule the what I think is supposed to be the right way. But it is something that might be coming down the pipe.
Sure. You never know with the state experience, so we'll see. Okay, well, very good. Well, thank you, Joe.
Thank you. Is that all you needed me for tonight?
I believe so. I don't, I think we have some notes on the economic development that MRPC did, but I don't believe that was you or that's in your wheelhouse, so.
Right, I haven't really kept up on the project.
Yeah, so I think we're all set. Thank you for joining us.
All right, thank you. Nice seeing you again.
Good night.
Have a good night.
Okay, so that takes care of we've done 3.2, 3.3, and then 4.4. We can go to 4.1, the administrative updates and reports. Beth, would you like, I see you have it printed out here. Would you like me to read it, or do you?
It's pretty long, so
Sure.
if you want me to
Or
summarize.
have you all had a chance to?
I read it,
Yeah.
so I'm good.
If you guys are
So,
comfortable with that,
yeah.
just,
I mean,
yeah.
unless somebody,
Unless you want to highlight anything in there, I mean, there's,
I mean, I read your report. And so
Yeah, I think I'm okay with that.
I didn't see anything.
Yeah.
Sure. Carly, do you think you're good? Do you want to look it over or?
Well, I saw it before, but thank you.
Yeah,
But,
Yeah, the important thing was the select board joint meeting.
Right.
You know, so everybody has that on their calendar, and
right.
that would be, I know.
You wanna just put that, I'm gonna be gone from the
Okay. I
13th,
mean, you're not gonna be
13th to the 21st. And I won't be looking at my email.
Yeah,
there.
I think I'm all set. Thank you.
Fair.
Okay, and then, let's see, Harley, do you have any communications from
Yes.
other towns that you'd like to?
Yes,
go
indeed,
through?
indeed I do. Should just read this as I see them, or are they in any particular order?
Just as you see them, yeah.
Okay.
There's a lot there.
Okay, indeed there is. First from the town of Groton, from the town clerk of the town of Groton, planning board public hearing notice, special permit and site plan review, Neshoba Satellite Emergency Facility. This is a letter from a member of the Groton Planning Board to the town clerk. Dear Ms. Dunbar, in accordance with the provisions of MGL Chapter 40A, these squiggly things here, they have a name?
Oh, gosh.
Is it section?
Section, yeah.
Okay, section, I apologize.
That's okay.
So
Multiple
Harley,
Sections 5 and 11. The Groton Planning Board will hold a virtual public hearing via Zoom on Thursday, July 17th, 2025 at 7 p.m. to consider the application submitted by UMass Memorial Healthcare, Inc. for a special permit and major site plan review pursuant to the Groton zoning bylaw sections 218-5.2 schedule of use regulations and 218/2.5 site plan review. The applicant proposes to construct a satellite emergency facility, SEF, as shown on the plans prepared by VHB entitled Neshoba Satellite Emergency Facility, dated June 23rd, 2025. The proposed SEF will be located at 490 Main Street, Assessor's Map 2116, 216 parcels 96, 98, 99. You may attend this virtual public hearing on Zoom. It has the Zoom site there. Or should I read the phone numbers that they have here? Is that necessary? Okay. Copies of the application are on file in the planning board office and the town clerk's office in town hall. The town of Groton does not discriminate on the basis of disability. A signed translation of this public hearing will be provided for the hearing impaired upon request by contacting the ADA coordinator at least 1 week prior to the hearing. Groton Planning Board, Lorraine Black, Chair. So,
Harley, that was great, and that one's certainly very interesting, especially with the health care initiative. I am happy if you just want to try to glaze it even quicker.
okay,
It's a mental gymnastics to do so due to the density of the words in the different formats per town.
right.
But I think the key things are just kind of hitting on like the who. So,
Yeah, okay.
what town's it from, what department?
All right.
The what, is it site plan, special notice of decision, notice of hearing?
Okay.
The address, and then if there's a why, and then.
Okay.
we should
All right.
know.
Well, if I'm leaving anything out, let me know. Otherwise, I'm all for that.
Sure.
Okay. This is from notice of public hearing, town of Pepperell Planning Board. Something to do with anyway.
Sometimes it's hard to find the words.
Regarding,
What
okay, such and such and such and such regarding an application submitted by Matt Dusenberry of Lee's Engineering on behalf of owner Matthew Nelson, requesting a planning board special permit to allow the replacement of an existing family dwelling to be removed with a new two-family dwelling. The subject property is located within the Recreation Residential Zoning District at 24 Nashville Road, Pepperell, Mass, as shown on the assessor's map in the ownership of Matthew Nelson, and is further described by a deed recorded at the Middlesex South District Registry of Deeds, et cetera, et cetera. Please see the calendar on the Town of Pepperell homepage for information on how to access the meeting. This was from Albert Patnaud Jr., Chair of the Pepperell Planning Board. So I hope I covered that sufficiently.
Perfect.
Thank you. Okay, this one is from, Town of Pepperell. Special permit to allow a home occupation for the purpose of operating a physical therapy service that uses hippotherapy, property located at 44 Prescott Street, Pepperell, Mass, owned by Anthony and Laura Dennis. Decision of the Zoning Board of Appeals is on file with the papers on this matter in the office of the town clerk, et cetera, et cetera. Okay, I think that covers that. If I'm going too fast, let me know.
I don't know. I was gonna ask, because I know Beth does things with horses. Did you know what hippotherapy was?
Yes, I do,
just
yeah.
Googled it.
I've actually worked with that group, well, I'm planning on working with that group, but they do, autistic children, any children with disabilities, they'll put them on the horse and just move them around. I'm familiar with the farm too, they do a great job. They do a great job, yeah.
Nothing to do with him.
And they did get their permit, they did.
That was my first thought.
Yeah,
me
exactly.
too.
I was like,
Exactly.
no
Okay,
kidding.
or
Yeah.
therapy for hippopotamuses. But anyway, this is from the town of Pepperell for a zoning board of appeals variance to demolish the existing single-family dwelling, which is pre-existing non-conforming, and construct a triplex, which requires 10,000 square feet of land area per dwelling unit. The subject property consists of 17,942 square feet of land, and a triplex requires 30,000 square feet of land area. Therefore, the variance needed is 12,058 square feet of land area. The subject property is located in the commercial district at 14 Cottage Street, Pepperell, Mass, as shown on a map. Okay, so that covers that. This is from, it's from the Planning Board of the Town of Townsend. Okay, Planning Board vacancy. The Townsend Planning Board is currently accepting volunteer response forms for the following. One planning board member to serve for 1 year until the next annual town election, April 27th, 2026, with an option at that time to file nomination papers to run for an elected position on the board. The planning board is responsible for hearing and approving subdivisions, site plan review, approval not required, A&R lots, and applications under the Scenic Roads Act. The board also serves as the Stormwater Authority, oversees updating the town's master plan, and makes decisions and recommendations required by the town's zoning bylaws and the State Zoning Act regarding zoning amendments and rezoning positions. The planning board meets in person at Memorial Hall, augmented with TCAM hosted Zoom meetings at 6:30 p.m., usually the second and fourth Mondays of the month, or may schedule an additional meeting if needed. Volunteer response forms are available online at www.townsendma.gov. Click on the Jobs and Volunteering button. All interested parties are encouraged to apply by completing a form and submitting it online or to the Townsend Select Board. We welcome adults aged 18 and over from all backgrounds to join this dynamic and exciting board. Training is available, and we encourage everyone to apply. Thank you. Okay. Here again, Town of Groton. Notice of decision, special permit, PB 2024-14. Notice is hereby given that the Groton Planning Board voted to grant a special permit pursuant to the code of the Town of Groton, Chapter 218 zoning, Section 218-9.2, major residential development to Ruthier and Roper Gratuity Road LLC, care of Melissa Robbins, 270 Littleton Road, Suite 32, Westford, Mass. 01886. Landowner, same. Property location, 63 Gratuity Road, Assessor's Map and Parcel 216-47, et cetera, et cetera. And that, I think, covers that. Town of Shirley Zoning Board of Appeals, legal advertisement. The Town of Shirley Zoning Board of Appeals will conduct a public hearing at 7 p.m. on Monday, July 7th, 2025, at the Town Office Building, 7 Keedy Way, Shirley, Massachusetts. Applications submitted by Martin Karanja and Talu Muwangompe for None Such Way, Shirley, Mass. Public hearing for a variance per section 3.3.2 C2 of the protective zoning bylaws relating to minimum side yard setback 15 feet for the construction of a shed. The parcel is located at 4 Nonsuch Way, Shirley, Mass. Parcel ID 7A42 in the R2 district. A copy of this application can be obtained from the town clerk. Town of Lunenburg, public hearing Monday, June 23rd, 2025, 6:05. This is passed, I think. Okay, so should I read it anyway? Okay. What is said and done? Okay. I guess that's it for this bunch.
Excellent. Thank you, Hartley.
You are most welcome.
Okay, so that is 4.2. And then 4.3, the Planning Board Economic Development Public Forum recap and notes provided by MRPC.
If Select Board Member Laura Schifrin is still on, maybe she would,
Sure.
she attended, so.
Lori, are you available?
Yeah, sure. I attended the forum. Wait a minute. And and when I saw it on your agenda, I was just wondering if you had next steps, which I haven't heard yet.
No, we had received meeting notes. I just uploaded them. But I don't see any next steps
I
yet.
think we had next steps at like 2 or 3 meetings ago from, is it Tracy?
Yeah.
Tracy, who is kind of running this with MRPC, but I don't remember them off the top of my head.
But was that before the forum? I don't recall that after the forum.
I thought before the forum, because we had a little bit of a discussion around whether we go forward with the forum, given the low survey responses. And I think we thought it couldn't hurt. And going into the summer, I mean, looking at it, seems like there were 4 people. We got a slight list of who attended, which seems like those that if I had to guess who could have attended, I guess I wouldn't have guessed those people. But it's a small group and it's a passionate group, so.
Yeah, it was. Well, Patrick was there.
Yeah, that's great.
Yeah, and that was very helpful. He also contributed with a process plan, which he gave to Tracy, which I think has been sent to you.
A process
There
plan?
was a process plan.
I haven't necessarily seen it yet, but that doesn't mean it's not somewhere in the ether.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. So it was really very exciting, actually, with the discussion. And at the time that you guys met the week before, where you were considering whether or not we should have it, there were 23 responses. And I announced it at the next night at the selectmen's meeting. And then by the time we met, there was 46.
Oh, great.
So yeah, so that had
You guys have
more
double
input.
you guys have more watchers than we do, maybe.
Well, I did a lot of texting to take the survey. So I mean, not everybody watches planning or select board or even looks at the meetings afterwards. All they do is respond to complaints on Facebook. So I did text as many people that I thought might have some reasonable responses that we could talk about, and we did. It was more of like a theme of well, one of the questions, if you took it, was what's the first word that comes to mind when you think about Townsend? And so all of those when you got the report from her or the notes, did it have like the visual board that had all the adjectives on it?
So we have not seen that yet.
It's in the folder there, I
I
think.
just uploaded it, yeah.
It's in it, but wasn't that last piece of paper with all the adjectives on it?
In the Hartley's folder?
Thought I saw it at the
Well,
very,
it should be in your,
It's in-
I uploaded it to your, meeting
at the very
packet.
last,
Oh, this, yeah,
with
this.
all the
I
colors.
I didn't read it because I thought we
Oh,
dealt with it
that-
last week, but this
oh,
thing,
okay.
okay?
Yeah. I get that.
Oh, that's all the adjectives.
Yes. So part of the discussion was having a contest. Well, they talked a lot about art and bringing beauty to the town. Not that it doesn't have its own beauty, but art. Art by like murals that you will see now in Fitchburg where local artists have painted on walls. And there's one near the board office in Fitchburg, and I was there went by the other day. It's been a few years that it's been up, and it has not been desecrated. It's like left alone. It seems that it's very appreciated. So I remember going around Main Street anyway after the meeting, and I privately picked out 3 walls that could accommodate that. It's all private property. So that the people would have to be asked, the owners. But one of the thoughts that came from this was that they would have a contest at the high school. They would have a contest for people to come up with ideas, drawings, locations, what they'd like to see, getting the youth involved as something productive for the town as well. So, I mean, we were there over 2 hours. Originally, what was sent out, the notice I had was 10 to 2. So I was prepared to stay 10 to 2. And then at 12 o'clock, they said, well, okay, we're almost done. And I said, what are you talking about? We got this from 10 to 2. And they said, oh, no, it's 10 to, it was 10 to, no, 10 to 12. And so it was an error. The first flyer that went out was an error. They had the 1 there instead of 0, instead of nothing. Or they didn't have the 1 there, I should say. So anyway, we finished about 12:30 and then she sent a recap. So that recap, I didn't get to print it off, but I read some of it and I was like, I thought, well, okay, what's next steps now? Where are we going from this? I mean, it's not going to happen overnight, especially if you want to do the contest and
Well, I didn't see that in the recap, do you? I don't see the art in the recap in her notes. Did I miss that?
I didn't see that either.
Wow,
I
that
really
was a
like that.
big thing.
Yeah.
So
But it-
I need to look at what she wrote for her recaps then, and maybe I'll reach out to her and find out where we are. Because
Sorry.
it's not going to be an overnight process, but it is going to be a process. And I think one of the things we talked about was to have another survey go out now that we have this one. Do a survey that shows what the first one brought up and some of the thoughts, and then whatever she was going to develop some other questions from that. And that's all I know. I haven't heard any more about that, except that I really did think it was exciting. Everybody that was there felt really good. And Patrick did have a plan. So if you have not seen that, I thought it was sent with the notes, but it wasn't. Or it was for her maybe to do it. But
Yeah, I did find the art, the mural / public art under opportunities, so it is there. Yeah.
I feel like it should be a bigger section though.
Yeah, I know, it's like a big deal.
Yeah. That all sounds really great, Lori. I think
That
I'm glad
it
you were
was-
able to
honestly, it was one of the nicest things I've done since being selectman. That and walking all the boundaries for the town.
Sure.
Oh,
Did
yeah.
that and Jay Funnioli painted each of the markers. It was a great day.
That's right, yeah.
I mean, it's so nice not to hear people complain about everything you do, you know?
Sure. I really thought at one of the earlier meetings that Tracy had shared with us what the next steps were. But I don't have them in front of me. But maybe we can look back at that, Beth, or have that in our meeting for next time and just kind of check in with it. Now,
Definitely.
I remember when we did have that last meeting, I know one of the thoughts I had, and I don't know if we've had a chance to ask at all, I know I didn't, but, like the treasurer's office about getting a note on the bill or.
Yes, I did not get a chance to do that, but in the past, we found that to be prohibitive. So yeah, not something that we can send out a survey like this small.
Sure.
Yeah, it's not generally, the water department you also mentioned for their billing.
Sure.
I think something this small scale is generally gonna be more posting flyers and putting stuff on the library webpage, the town webpage.
So cost-wise, it's prohibited, or?
I didn't check on what it would cost, but I think administratively, it's a bit of a
hassle?
stretch. Yeah. I mean, you have a barcode, which is nice.
Yeah.
So maybe it is possible. I can check again. I mean, it's worth an
I would think it probably doesn't, I don't know, I know there's plenty of antiquated systems in town government, but I would think if there's a form and you just put a QR code on the form that autofills, maybe that's not as bad these days, but maybe it is.
So for us, citizens that aren't really great with QR codes.
Yeah.
Well, but that's what the last survey was.
Yeah, it is.
It was a fillable form that you could do online.
Yep.
That's what I was texting to people. So
Sure.
But okay, so we do have an aging population, and maybe they don't all have computers, although they do use them at the library. I'm also gonna mention that at the select board meeting. I'm gonna try to get Tracy before tomorrow night's meeting. And if it's not something I can do on tomorrow's agenda, then I'll do it on the 15th, once I get information from her as to when they're gonna do the next step. And what is the timeline? Yes, I'll try to find out.
Sure, and I think it seems like Beth and I are in agreement, we're gonna try to pull up what she's presented to us previously and just look at it on our meeting on Monday, the 14th too.
Okay, so, I just wanted to mention to you, I am your liaison. So Beth, can you copy me on everything that the board gets, please? So then I know what's coming up. And then if you have any feedback for the board, then I can do that. Are you good with that? I mean, I think we used to copy Chaz.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Well, that sounds good.
Yeah, I got no issue with that. That sounds great. Yeah. More eyes on something, the better.
That would be helpful. Okay.
Yeah. The Elise Johnson over at the Council on Aging did put out surveys for the seniors and whoever wanted to. So we did get approximately 15 responses written, which I did forward to Tracy, and I believe she'll be putting them in. So there was a total of 53 last time I checked, and then the written responses as well are coming in.
Oh, good. Well, there was 46 that day of the forum. So it's nice that more have come in. That's
Okay, excellent. All right. Anybody else have any more thoughts on that subject? All right. So that, choose two projects to prioritize for grant funding from the safety action plan. Towns and has 4 identified. Is that in our portal, Beth?
What's that?
The safety action plan?
Oh, it was in the last meeting, so I can pull that up if you want to talk about those projects. There are 4 projects, and they're in the last planning board meeting folder.
Do you have the screen share capabilities yet?
Yeah, I can grab that. It was in work session. Nope. Meeting big one. So who's working? Is it
Rick, I think.
Rick? Rick, oh, I'm not logged in, I'm sorry, so.
Okay.
I guess
log
you
in
guys can look at my computer. There's the 4 different projects that were picked from the safety action plan. Main Street, Sue's, I can't read it.
Main Street, School Street to South Street?
Yep.
Which is one.
That's one there. And the
School
second one is
Street to South.
Brookline to North End Road. That's probably a lot of speed issues there, I would imagine.
Greenville Road.
And
Oh,
Greenville
man.
Road.
The amount of speeding on Greenville Road is crazy,
Okay, yeah.
like crazy.
Yeah.
Wallace Hill Road and Highland Street 4.
Yeah, and they're prioritized by color here, so you've got your red.
So do we need to pick something, or are we?
Well, it's recommended, if you want to pick 2 projects to bring forward, to funding, to, potential funding. These projects have been vetted by the, basically the consulting group that put together the safety action plan. And they did these analyses for each town in the MRPC district. And, where's the other one? There's a whole thing here. Where's the next one? Should be able to advance it. Okay, here we go. So there's the history of crashes that occurred in the site, and then the countermeasures that they're proposing.
Okay.
So if you look through, this is just the PowerPoint of the 4 projects. This is the Brookline Street crash scene, basically. Countermeasures that are proposed and supplemental safety measures. The Greenville Road is, you had mentioned, that's a very,
Well, I mean,
very active area.
you did the
would
bridge
know.
there, and just like standing on the side of the road,
Mhm.
you're just like shocked. Felt like the Autobahn.
Oh, yeah, see, that's the thing. You start speeding into.
And it's
up
just
into
like
Mason.
a straightaway,
Yep.
until you get to the corner in New Hampshire.
Yep. So I can say that he already has feedback from Highway, and Highway is recommending Greenville and Main Street projects. But you guys kind of
So
look
did you-
through and
Were you presented this presentation, or did you get to?
the select board.
Oh, the
was.
select board
Yeah,
was?
there was a special meeting for town the town administration about the findings, and these are the 4 that they had for Townsend. And so.
So it looks like they prioritized
Mhm.
the Wallace Hill Road and then the Main Street, it seems,
Mhm.
based on the coloring.
That's what I see too. And I'm not
Okay.
sure why Wallace Hill Road, because
What did they
I know
say?
that's a dangerous intersection there, but, well, I guess the fatal single vehicle crash. And then,
So I think it's worse because I travel
Yeah.
Brookline Street to North End Road all the time.
yeah,
Because of my granddaughter.
Yeah.
And when you come out of North End Road to take the left, because of that little hill, you can't really see oncoming traffic because that little bump
yeah.
hides coming traffic coming from New Hampshire down. You can't
Yeah,
like see it.
that's similar to Greenville Road, except for the Greenville Road is like a straightaway and then.
Like Wallace Hill, I travel that all the time too, but I don't
Mhm.
see that to be that. I don't know, that
Yeah.
doesn't seem to be that. I guess I've never
I know
really,
there has been a fatal
It-
crash.
it- there,
It was
but
highlighted.
unless you're really going fast. I know what
I think with the corner right after, it's probably similar,
Similar, the
You know,
visibility.
because you got people probably going at like 40 miles an hour and you're trying to take a leisurely turn and,
Well, plus the other thing, the vegetation,
yeah.
sometimes the
Ah, okay.
vegetation,
Mhm.
especially like when I come across where there's Spalding Street to take whatever, I don't know if it's Proctor Road at that, I don't, because it's got 4 different names, but when you come off of Spalding and you want to go left and you look to the right to see oncoming traffic, there's a lot of foliage there at the corner, which makes it difficult, so then you have to like start
Creeping out.
creeping out into the intersection so you can see it. So, and that's a lot of places in town.
Yeah,
with the
That's a
foliage.
countermeasure.
Beth,
Um,
can I scroll this down for a second?
Yeah, of course.
Thank you. I just want to see what you
It's
got.
done.
Oh, there, right there. Okay.
Yeah.
Keep
Greenville
going,
Road.
keep going
I
down.
don't know, see, I've never
Or
talked
up,
to
as the
Greenville.
case
I'm
may
not
be.
even
Line
sure
Street.
what Greenville
Yeah.
Road
You know
is.
the Fort
Main
Farm?
Street. School
I-
Street to
I've
South
seen
Street.
Case of soccer fields?
No,
And those
I
are
know
the-
where the Hobart
believe
Mall
they're
is, and I
prioritized
think, like you
in-
said, it's down that way.
So
just keep
the-
going straight.
This is
Just
probably
keep
the
going
most
straight.
intense area based on history
Country
of
mile.
crashes
Yeah.
and
I
accidents.
haven't gone past the Hobart Mall.
Countermeasures
Okay,
that
all
they're
right.
proposing, so.
Fair enough.
But could I,
I mean, I have gone to Ashby,
Yeah,
but,
sure,
but
sure.
that
The other
way,
way.
Hobart Mall, I go up there.
could I nominate another area? I don't know if it's within our jurisdiction because it's where the three towns meet.
Mm.
Oh,
But the
Oh.
intersection of Proctor and Main Streets.
sure.
Oh,
One
yeah.
of these days, there's going to be a real bad accident there.
Mm.
And because you've got first of all, it's sloping down a hill, so cars are going to be going,
Oh, yeah.
fast anyway.
Mm.
And you have people desperately trying to pull out either from
They're trying to go
right
straight across.
from Townsend Road in Groton to Main Street, or from Proctor Road in Townsend to Main Street. And I just and of course it's right near the high school.
Sure, sure.
So again, we have the little situation where the three towns have a little chunk of everything there. I don't know exactly where the town boundaries are, but I think we need to call in the other two towns to talk about this. We might have to, but I just one of these days there's going to be
Oh,
a
yeah,
real
it's
mess
hor- It's
there.
horrible there.
So we do have a grant right now. It's called the Unified Work Planning Program for a corridor analysis along 119.
Yeah.
And it does run to the town line.
Yeah.
I don't think it runs over though. But right now there is work being done out there, and I put an update in your
Okay.
folder as well.
Okay.
So that's a grant we have from the Planning Commission, that section there,
Right.
right in front of the high school and Harbor in the mall. So
Right.
we're working on that now. We're
Good.
doing traffic counts and
Right.
so
Yeah.
but that
Next,
intersection, like you said, is not particularly all in Townsend.
Right.
So, yeah,
So we gotta
that
work
is
with
a
that, so-
joint collaborative effort there.
Okay.
Yeah,
Okay. Well, I'm glad someone's taking
That's
a
a-
look at it.
yep,
because
yeah, that's a grant.
It needs to be dealt with one of these
Yeah.
days.
Yeah.
Thank you.
From an emergency management standpoint, what is your sense here?
Yeah,
Responder.
I can think of the different pros and cons to all of them. I don't have a deep understanding for the nature to which they prioritize.
Mm-hmm.
I'd hate to offer a cavalier recommendation.
Right, so there's,
Certainly the Main Street one, I can see and feel like that probably has the most usage
mhm,
and would probably be the most impactful to if substantive change were to happen there.
mhm,
Because it's that corner.
mhm.
Yeah, and I think a car's even been into the house that's right on that corner.
Yes, I
Like,
can remember
a few
an
times.
accident there, or a few, yep. So, okay, so Main Street would, and it is number one on the priority list, so, based on history of crashes and,
But even looking at his colors, it looks like he makes, that's red, which seems like it looks like purple is the number one. And I don't know, maybe it's just the size and the scale, but that one seems for some reason to be right up there.
yeah.
And I
And
don't-
it doesn't jive with the, in my opinion, it doesn't jive with the crash history. Which,
I know there was one fatal accident, but I didn't even think it was right at that intersection. I thought it was further down.
is that purple? I don't
Oh,
know.
maybe it's red.
Yeah. But it's numbered number 4, so you would think
But
it would
yeah,
be 1, 2, 3, 4.
even with it being red though, that's still well, they seem to be of equal importance based on.
Mhm,
I like it when I like to try to trust the professionals, but
mhm.
do you guys have any thoughts on?
Well, Main Street is the most
Yeah,
traveled,
Yeah.
and,
Mhm.
so that probably should be,
A recommendation.
Yeah. Beth, could you do me a favor? Could you email this to me at
Sure.
your convenience?
It's in your
Thank you.
folder, yeah. I can do that.
is
Thank
it already in the folder?
Yeah.
Oh,
What was it?
But it's in the last meeting folder. I'll resend the link.
Oh,
to you
okay.
Okay.
So you can look it up.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. But
And you
yeah,
don't have to
but-
make a decision now, you could just, next
Main
meeting
Street
or something.
probably for sure. And
Sure,
then-
sure.
then
Or you
we-
can send me your decisions individually if you want, and I can transfer them on to Nelson, and, you know, you don't
Okay.
have to make a board vote or anything. You can
Okay,
just-
thank you.
I mean, if they're looking for that type of feedback,
Yes.
I don't see why we need to hold up more meeting time for
Okay,
it.
yeah,
Okay.
exactly.
We'll
Yeah,
just do it via email and.
just drop an email, say what my first and second choice is.
Yeah.
Right.
All right, that
Okay.
sounds good. So we got that one. Section 5, education and training, the planning board member resource library folder.
Yeah.
Is that's just the folders that we have, right?
Yep,
Yeah.
just maintaining that.
Seems like there's a spring workshop for the CTPC Citizen Planner Training Collaborative
Yep.
workshops, and then a annual conference handout from them as well.
That's all in their folder
Mhm.
for you.
Great.
So next planning board meeting is scheduled for Monday, July 14th. And then on the 15th, at 6 PM, for the MBTA Community Act only, that is a joint meeting with the select board.
Okay,
And which will you make it Monday, Carol, or will you be gone
No, I'll
Monday?
be gone, I'm leaving Sunday,
Okay.
so,
So we'll have to see where we're at in terms of if it'll just be Hartley and I, or if we'll be able to have Robert or Lance.
Okay.
this is for the joint meeting on Tuesday the 15th?
Well, I guess for both. 'Cause
Okay.
we know Carol will be gone, so as of right now, it would just
Oh,
be
here, okay.
pending your availability, you and I.
Okay, I don't see anything keeping me from attending either night, 14th or the 15th.
Okay. I'd like to entertain a motion to adjourn.
I'll make a motion to adjourn at 7:52.
Seconded, all those in favor?
Aye.